Hello friends, and welcome to the channel. I'm Handington, and today I'm going to be looking at some of the redesigns of characters that my friend Paragon Lolo has done, or Lolo the Paragon, depending on which one you want to say. So, she does a whole bunch of different redesigns of characters that she likes into making them humans. I believe it's called Gajinka. Um, so basically just anthro. No, not anthro. Well, maybe anthro. I don't know. Whichever one you feel. But she makes a lot of characters redesigned as humans, and uh, I mean, there's plenty of people who like to do redesigns of stuff, and some of them are really good, and then some of them are not as good. Um, and of course, they're the ones that are really not good, but you can see somebody is definitely passionate about it. But I generally really like the care and effort that goes into her character redesigns because she usually thinks pretty like farther into it rather than just the standard, oh, it's this character but they're a bit older. She's no Butch Hartman where the characters just look really gross. She doesn't just make a character that's just the same character but bigger or but a little bit older and using like the same design. She usually thinks like a lot about the characters themselves and incorporates their personality into their outfits. And there's a lot of effort that goes into the designs that she does, and I want to give them a little bit of a look. So this is one of the more recent ones that she has she's done, where she did a bunch of characters from this show Angry Birds Stella, which I know nothing about. I don't know a single thing about this show, but from her character designs, I can already tell a little bit about each of the characters, uh, just from how they're designed, and it's really cool. And I was looking at this and I was like, oh, you know what? I want to talk about some of these because she was feeling a little bit down lately, and she's very talented. And not too many people really go into an analysis about, her artwork and stuff. She was kind of sad about people not really drawing her OCs all that much. And I have that other video that I put out where I decided to redraw one of her characters as well. And I mean, yeah, I know that not everybody would analyze my art or my videos or my artwork too, but it's all about just doing what you like, having fun and making stuff. And some people will notice some things, and a lot of people won't necessarily notice things. I know that a lot of people won't necessarily notice a lot of the work that I'd put into stuff. So usually I'm like, you know what? I'll keep it simple, because a lot of people will just look at something and go, oh, that's nice. So I usually try and steer my artwork a little bit more into that direction where it's like, I know people aren't really going to focus too hard on this, or at least the majority of people aren't. So I kind of lean into that. There's only so much quality that I can do in these videos, and I could make them more perfect, but I think that there's some charm in the imperfections because there are so many channels that are so highly produced that it doesn't really, like, it loses like that connection. Um, and there's also just the fact that I can't really make the videos all that well, and I could work really, really hard making a good video that will probably be about as well received as if I just made a bunch of videos that were just adequate. And it's like, you know what? I'll do that just because people don't necessarily look at my artwork or my stuff very closely anyway. They just see it, it's cute, and then they just move on. So I want to give her some time in the spotlight to really look at some of the artwork that she does and really give it some proper appreciation. So here's a whole bunch of the tags and everything for the characters and whatever. So she watched them, she loved the birds, so she made them into lesbians, and one little boy, one little lad, their son. Somebody had commented below. So let's go check. Let's go take a look at all of them. We're gonna zoom in. Oh, first we gotta load it in 4K because I'm not a pleb. No, that's a lie. I am a pleb, but I'm a pleb in 4K. At least this time. So over here we have Stella, and not only, I mean, I really love her artwork because look at the extra little attention to detail, attention to detail that she puts even into the names. They're not just a solid color that she wrote. She has it stylized with the writing. She has it go from one gradient to another. She adds a cute little star to it. She does that with all of the stuff. So Willow here has the same color palette as the hat, and it goes from the darker orange to the yellow, and it has a bunch of little lines underneath it. And then over here, this one uses a different font. And other different letters. Each of them have a different style, and so it isn't just the same words. This one is bubble art with little hearts in it and everything. Look at this. This one is in script, so there's a lot of work that goes into all of these, even just down to the way that she writes the names. I mean, I just write in script in solid black when I do the shout-outs because I do them fast because I'm not very quick at art, and it's just that. But she goes to the extra work of having that in there, and so that you know what character she's basing it off of. She has a little character up in the corner there, so this way you can see. I'm doing this off my phone and not from my computer, so the lines won't be as crisp, but trust me, on the actual drawing they're very crisp. They look very nice. So over here, she incorporated her eyebrows and general like tail lump style into her eyelashes and everything. So you can also see the way that her eyebrows, she has the Dreamworks eyebrows, as I like to call them. So she has that over here, and due to the way that her hair is positioned, she made the eyebrow that's up on this side of her face. So that this way, because you can see it's a little hidden underneath the little lumps, the hair feather lumps. I mean, they're birds, so they're feathers, but it's also hair, but it's also feathers. So you can't really see the eyebrow as well. So she put the eyebrow over here, and the other eyebrow that goes lower is right underneath the hair. So you can actually see both of them clearly, and it really helps her expression to be noticeable. And she has the hair that's wrapped in a little ponytail look similar to the bird. So you can see the little floofs of the hair coming out of the bun, and that's like her tail feathers. And then the top part, of course, and the little beak and everything are similar to the top of her hair over here. And the rest of her hair on the right, the way the little hair spikes, those are a much clearer parallel over there. And all of the little tips that she has in her hair are highlighted in a darker pink, just like Stella's feathers, which is just really cool. Same as her eye color. She incorporated her eyes into the eye color, but because the eyes are such an important part of the color palette, she also reincorporated that same color into her actual design. So she has fingerless gloves, and she has those to match the color of her eyes. They also contrast very well. So she doesn't just have, it isn't just that her hair looks similar to the character, which is what a lot of people would standardly do when they translate characters. So she reincorporates the characters' dress and outfit, the way that they're dressed, into the design. So she has a little feather on her, because she's a bird. And rather than just making it pink, rather than making her whole outfit very, very pink, she has a lot of colors that contrast and work well. Something that's a bit more believable of a character. And then, of course, the hair being that, she's animated, would be a bit more uniquely colored that you couldn't have in the real world. So it adds a little bit of extra wonder and cartoonishness to the character while still being like real enough for you to feel like this is the way that a character would be dressed. And the little pouch that she has around her is also floofed with little pink floofs, and along with the little ties on her boots, those are also pink and floofy, just like her feathers. So it's incorporated all into the design while looking like the character, like something that somebody would wear, and not just, oh, it's just feather boots and everything. It feels more like a believable character, and it's really cool. And the way that she's positioned, kind of like Sonic the Hedgehog, you can kind of get that she's spunky. From her character design. Again, I don't know anything about the character. I've never once watched the show. So I'm doing this based solely off of the redesigns for the character to get the feeling of what the characters are like. So she's spunky. You can see that she gets down and like she's not afraid to get down and dirty with adventuring or whatever, just jumping right into whatever. Her outfit has dirt on it and she's wearing overalls, so she's the spunk master. And she's wearing an orange shirt, even though the only orange on her is her beak. That's still part of the character's colors, so she incorporates that into her shirt, which is so clever to get all of the colors in there, and then her overalls are green to help balance out the rest of the design. So most of the time, most people would have given her like pink overalls because the character is mainly pink, which is something that I probably would have done had I decided to redesign the character. Uh, but it's really clever. I really like this. Now, she could have made the pink of her overalls that lighter colored pink, but I like that it's green because it helps feel like overalls that somebody would wear. This feels like an outfit that you would see that would just be very spunky, rather than just being as wildly colored. And it helps feel a little bit more earthy and natural, having the dirt on it with the greener color. So it works very well. Oh, and you can also see that there are little like scratches on her shoes to show that she uses the shoes. She doesn't just have them for design. She wants to look nice, but she's not afraid to get everything like messed up, um, and just be spunkalicious. There we go, and just jump into things. So like she's very adventurous. So she'll look nice. She won't just wear other stuff, but she wants to be practical, and that looks pretty cool. You can all just feel that from the way that she's designed. Whereas this character is very very artsy. So wearing something that's very wildly colored would be a lot more fitting for this character. So you can see over here, Willow. She has a little. Is that the lesbian pride flag as a pin? I always get the lesbian and trans pride flags mixed up. I don't remember them very well. I wish to be an ally, but I still get confused. I'm pretty sure this is the case. For the longest time, I thought they were switched, and every so often I doubt. I was just like, wait a minute, what's this one? Is that bi? I don't remember. But I mentioned this before on another episode, but I'll mention it as well. Anybody is welcome here. Just let me know if I'm messing up on something because I'm doing my best. Because a lot of things feel like they change, and my ultimate goal is that I want to be accepting of whoever comes by the channel. You are all welcome here as long as you're nice to people and you want to be a good person. You are absolutely welcome here. Whatever you identify as, whoever you are, you can you're this is a safe space. You can just be yourself here, and I do my best to be knowledgeable, but I forget some stuff sometimes. But I mean, she said that they're lesbians. That I think that's lesbian colors. Either way, excuse me, it works well with her hat since the orangey reddish color is fitting for the hat. So it makes sense that she would have that on there. She'd be very expressive because she'd be a very artsy type of person. And I love that she has a little like seashell thing on her neck as the necklace for the little lumpy lumps, just like on the side here. And she has the longer feathers, which is portrayed in her hair. The hair matches very well. It's so fitting. It feels really good, and it's so clever. She has a shirt that's full of a pile of stains because she likes art, so it's going to be a pile of different colors. It's not like the dirt that you can tell over here. Um, it's a whole pile of different painting colors, and she's painting on the background wall with a little paintbrush and everything, which is so charming. Um, so she has a very vibrant shirt to not shirt skirt. I can't speak to show that she's very colorful. She likes art. She likes to be very expressive like that. So having much more wild colors would be very fitting for the character. So that's really cool. And she has a little purse, which also has stains. So she keeps her bag with her, probably full of like art supplies or something. And you can imply that it's with her all the time. She is not afraid to get like paint on everything. She's just herself. Whatever happens, happens, and she wants to just be expressive, and you can tell that in just the way that her character is designed. That she's very full of life and happy. And over here we have Luca, the small bean, with the yellow and blue, but just like the hair, it has little tips that are yellow and everything. Has little freckles on his face and everything. He's just very small and chibi, small child. Now, and I know this part of the color contrast. He has blue hair, so in order to contrast that, he has a green shirt and an orange hoodie and shoes. So this, because the blue and orange are very contrasting colors. So this way, like the design looks a little bit better to the eyes. The way that everything doesn't all blend together, and it works very well. I would recommend, unlike with Stella, I would have recommended making the making this blue and having like orange shoes, or the shoes are a little bit more yellowy to match with the beak. But here I look at him and I think orange child, because that's the prominent color that sticks out. You don't really think of the blue as much. I but again, that's what most people would normally have jumped to, making the outfit blue. That's what I would have done. There are some characters where I think that would be a bit more fitting, though. So I feel like it would have been a little bit better to have him in blue, because he gives off just being a small innocent blue bean, just tiny little blue lump, and I really think that probably would have fit a little bit better. But I mean, in order to contrast with the other characters in the cast, having the blue and orange contrast helps him to stand out among the other characters, because she has blue hair as well, and she has another blue purse. So having the two characters that are mostly blue would kind of take away from each other. So I understand why he would be wearing the orange jacket, because in terms of designing the characters, it helps him to stand out amongst all of the others. So as a singular character, I think that the blue, or even having like a blue shirt, would have blue shirt and maybe some of the blue shoes could have helped a little bit more. To just get across the blue feeling. But apparently, I think that the orange helps, because he looks like he's just a happy little innocent kid, where blue is a bit more of like a calmer color, and having the orange makes him feel a bit more like excited to be like, oh, well, what are we doing now? Is we're going to be going on an adventure? Yeah. So I think the orange kind of reflects that energetic style of the character, who's like just wide-eyed, excited about the world, not very laid back and calm, which the blue would probably have represented a little bit more. But more like just an excited kid who's not too excited, who's not jumping around and hyper or anything, but just like a kid who's full of energy and life, but doesn't like bounce everywhere with that energy, just excited to go on adventures or whatever. So that's reflected in the character design. Also, this child looks like me, but with blue hair. Uh, I mean, that's why I have a beard now. So this way I look more Hobbit-like than I do like a kid. I mean, people would still think that I was like 14 until I grew the beard. They're just like, "Oh, are you going into high school?" I've almost graduated college. And, I mean, I'm 5'4". I'm a hobbit, and I embrace my hobbitness. But I mean, these are holly colors. I have her in the dress, and she has the blue variations on her as well. So that's what it kind of reminds me of as well. So it's just like, yeah, it's nice though. I like it. And over here we have Dahlia, and you can tell that for her DreamWorks face, she has much bigger eyebrows. Hers are a lot more like, oh really, as opposed to the more Sonic the Hedgehog-y, like, yeah, spunk, that Stella has. So they're similar eyebrows, but they feel different, and they're in a different context. So of course she has her hair has the little floofy feather things up in the back behind her, and Dahlia has probably the least in common um, for the feather colors incorporated into her design, because her skin color is similar to the color of the feathers. So the rest of her outfit doesn't really incorporate the rest of that into it, and neither does her hair. She's one of the characters where, rather than having the hair resemble the um, what do you call it? Resemble the bird. It's the rest of her skin that resembles the bird, which is an interesting way to do this. Now, I would have something that I would have recommended is that she has those little rings around her eyes. Um, when I first looked at her, I thought that that was a monocle, and I would have. Some people would have designed her where she would have that skin other coloring, where like around her face she would end up having the lighter color, just the way that her skin would end up being, um, which is definitely interesting. That would be one way to do it, but what I would have recommended is to give her a monocle. Or glasses, because even though the character doesn't actually wear them, it would give off that little ring around the eyes, and feels like it would be a little bit more. I think she feels like she's kind of studious or whatever, um, kind of a bit of a grump or the Squidward of the group. I feel like having the glasses, like the cream-colored yellowy glasses or a monocle, would have worked well. And the reason why I would say a monocle is that it would accentuate the eyebrow up around her eye. So this way, you'd be able to notice that over there a little bit more. Um, it would accentuate when she makes that face. Whereas if she had the glasses, it might cover up the other eyebrow when it's down a little bit. So I would have kind of recommended that into the design. But again, I really like how clever her designs are, because I wouldn't have thought to do that. Instead, she incorporated that little yellow onto her shirt, which has either a fancy necklace or a fancy lace around it, and she has a little pin, like a little star or leaf or flowery pin, and her arms are crossed and everything. And she's green pants. And I think she actually drew the lines on there. I don't think she put like a plaid pattern behind her, because I think that like this line over here near the outfit curves upwards a little bit, whereas if this was a normal pattern that she just used the transparency for the lines on the legs and then just had that behind it, I don't think that would have been there, because there are some slight lines that are a little bit what do you call it? A little bit in different directions. So I think she actually drew all of the lines herself, which is even more impressive. And I love that the little thing on the outfit ends up fading into a different color, just like the little the white spot underneath her. That got incorporated into the rest of the outfit, and she has this darker blue color, so that she's kind of like a bit more of a darker loner character. But you can tell by like the plaid pants, which is a bit more of a an interesting design choice that's a little bit weirder. You can tell that she wants to be very fancy and taken seriously, but I mean, at heart, she'd still have some like uh little, how should I describe it? It feels like she'd want to be proper and fancy and everything, and look down on people, where it's like she thinks that she's a little bit better than everyone else for not giving into the craziness. But it feels like she'd still be part of the crew, because she still has she has plaid pants, and it's a very bold fashion choice. So it's just like she is still her own person, and she would wear that, and she doesn't care. Um, because she still wants to be herself, and she'd still be part of the group, as opposed to like if somebody was trying to oppose them, she still fits into the group, because it's just like um in her heart she still wants to be with everyone. She can still be fun, she can still be in with whatever adventures they would do, even though she'd be a little bit like um because like if you see somebody who would be wearing like a suit and be very refined, you wouldn't necessarily think of them wearing like plaid pants. But it shows that she's not um, completely stuck up or separated from the rest of the group. She's still part of everybody. She just has that little air of skepticism to her. So I think that's. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Or it's like, oh, she's a bit of a stick in the mud, but at the end of the day, she really cares about everybody. And I feel like that shows well in her um, less average looking clothing choice, which still looks rather like it still works with the outfit. It doesn't look as wildly out there. It's just a little bit different. So I think that's very clever. And then over here we have Poppy, and she's a bigger bird than the others, so she drew her a little bit chubby, which is very cute. And you can tell from just the excitedness on her face that she's very gung ho. She's the one that has a whole pile of like constant energy and is just very excited. She's not the kind of calm, energetic, wide-eyed kid that Luca would have, where he'd be ready for adventure, but is not going to be bouncing all over the walls. She feels like she'd be bouncing all over the walls, and her design with the very gaudy, fluffy boots just shows that she does not care about what other people would think. She's going to wear whatever the heck she wants, and she will be as energetic and full of life as she possibly can. She has a tattoo that says mom on it. I think that says mom on it. And music notes, and her outfit has music notes. I think she's like a songbird, so you can tell that she just loves singing lively music. She'd probably just be bouncing around everywhere and making a lot of noise or singing and just jumping around everywhere. And her, of course, just like the rest of them, the little frosted tips on her hair is incorporated. But because the hair goes to one side, it feels kind of like a ponytail. So you have the little spikes in front, but you also have the ponytail behind her, and then that fades in from one color to another. So it's not just a direct line like the little tips in front. Oops, there we go. And it's very charming. You can see her face. She has a very big smile. It's like the biggest out of all of them. Um, so you can tell that she's very excited about just life and everything. She has distressed jeans, and her leggings they look like pizza. Look like pizza almost, but that incorporates her uh, face cheek blushes. So she doesn't just blush on her face; she incorporates that into very standout colors. They're very eye catching when you see her. Um, and the light blue helps to balance out the warmer pink and the other shade of blue, and it all fits very well into the design. I would have thought she would have made them green since her eyes are green, but and she has the green eyes on the actual character, but the blue helps to um, stand out in regards to the character, because that is a very neon blue as opposed to the other blues, where this is a slightly darker blue, this is a lighter blue, and this is the lightest blue. And it helps to give off a very neon look, and the blue balances out the rest of her yellowy colors. If there's ever going to be something to help balance out the spots, it would be the blueness of her um, leg fluffs. And the leg floofs would probably have been yellow if somebody else was designing the character, because they would have just been like, oh, okay, well, we're going to make the character as yellow as possible. But instead, she just has the character designed as like something that the characters would probably wear, but incorporates that extra yellowness into the rest of her character, which is something like that. What she did here is something I wish was incorporated a bit more into Luca, because she has a little blue feather on his jacket, which is very nice. But I would have recommended having like blue on the cuffs of the jacket, or blue shoes as well. So that this way you'd incorporate a little bit more blue into his design, like how the yellow is incorporated a little bit more into this. But she's very charming. She's very happy, and very cute. And then over here we have Gail, and here again, very fancy character. The way that the outfit is designed, you can see the little curl of the dress on the bottom here, and the way that the outfit has other little curls on the side. Very fancy. Um, to add to the queen like design. I don't know if Gale is supposed to be like the bad guy character, the enemy for the show. Again, I don't know the show. I don't think she would be part of the group. She seems like she would stand out, which is part of why Dahlia, also having darker colors and everything, has the plaid pants to be like, oh well, she stands out among the other group with very bright colors, but she's still part of the group. She'd still be against her. who has predominantly darker colors, and she has that smug little look on her face. She has the eyes halfway over, so she has a bit of like a grinning scowl, like she's wily and whatever. And she also incorporated onto her hair the little orange tips, which is an interesting design choice, because even though she doesn't actually have those little tips or alternate colors to her hair, she has that underneath to help differentiate where the hair is. So her eye can be seen through the hair, um, but she has little bits of orange on her, and that works very well. It's something that isn't just a direct translation of the character, but really takes character design in general into it. Like it's very creative. She has a little green amulet around her neck. Her sleeves, I think, are connected at the bottom of the dress, and they have the little spikes and everything to she due to the spikes on her character, she seems a lot more intimidating. She's not as round and bubbly and soft as this character, who would feel like a lot more cutesy and friendly, whereas here she's a lot more like intimidating and everything. So her character design has a lot of spikes added into the dress, and even her shoes have little crowns on them, because the crown is a defining feature of her character. And the inside of the dress also has orange, which is something that matches her hair. Um, and it's just very fancy. She has very fancy shoes. It's very fashionable, and it's very clever. It's just not standard stuff. It's very elegant, and she incorporates that well into the design. The only thing I would have recommended as a change, and out of all the other things that I would have recommended, this is the one that I think really should be changed. This is the only one that I actually have a bit of an issue with the character design on, that's more than just like an idea or suggestion, um, but something that I think would actually probably be important to change is that over here you can see that she clearly wanted her to have like more of an hourglass design, but the hair color is so dark that when you look at her, it's more of a rectangular shape. Uh, so it doesn't give off the hourglass shape that she's kind of going towards, because you just see a whole blob of darkness. You look at this and it's just a whole pile of dark all in one. You can't differentiate as well, which is what she did with the hair, in order to differentiate the way that the hair and eyelashes and everything go. She has the little orange to show where everything is. So this way you can take in more of the character. But A, the darkness of her long eyelashes, which she reincorporated from the design, and the big, thicker eyebrows, you can't see them as well because of how dark her hair is. And her outfit is black, whereas I mean, I believe the outfit that she has on here is also black. I would have recommended making her outfit the really dark purple, maybe even making it a little bit darker than that, and then making her hair the mid color of purple, so that it stands out a lot more. You could even keep like her gloves. Um, well, no, no, never mind. The gloves should still be the darker purple, but her hair is too similar to the color of her outfit, and it's a bit too dark for you to really take everything in. I know she's supposed to feel like a very dark character, but you can't fully appreciate all of the nuance to the character design due to the fact that it all just blends in the middle, and over here you can't really tell it as well. So I think that the hair should be a bit lighter, and then that little lighter purple streak over there should be the color on like the lightest color of purple, similar to the one that she has as the eyeshadow. I think that should have been the color there on her hair. Hey, that rhymed. And she should have had lighter hair, and then the dress should be a dark purple. Because the black is pretty good, but a lot of characters are black. Whereas having a dark purple outfit would have stood out a little bit more for the character. And then you could have the shoes be black. That could work. And it's the same as the little necklace, but I highly would recommend having that actually be changed, as opposed to just, oh well, here's another idea that I think I would have done, but like with the other characters, I think it's just fine. Even with Luca, it's just fine. Um, but this is the only character who I think really would have benefited from having a slightly lighter color palette, and not even being light because she's supposed to be a dark character, but having the outfit be a dark purple instead of black. It might even, it might actually be a very, 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 very dark purple, but I can't tell. To me it looks black. So I would have recommend lightening up the dress a little bit, lightening up the hair a little bit more. Basically shifting all of the shades. If you go from black to the dark purple to the medium purple to the light purple, all of the colors on here I would shift one over, except her eyeliner, not eyeliner, rouge, eyeshadow. Yeah, I think it's eyeshadow. Besides the eyeshadow for her eyelids, which should stay the same color, I would lighten up the character a little bit more, so this way you can tell the design of her and separate her from the hair, because otherwise it's all just a singular blob. And you can also tell that, like, her, even her down to her elbows are sharp and pointed to show that she's a very intimidating, sharp character. Because, like, over here, Poppy has, like, rounded elbows. She's supposed to be very rounded and, like, charming and cutesy and bouncy. And she's a lot more refined. She has a lot more straight lines on her. Her posture is a lot more rigid. I like it. I think these are very, very strong character designs. And they go above and beyond just, like, what people would normally do when designing a character. I think it's very clever. I like this. I think she did a really good job to keep both the fact that it's a whole cast of characters and keep them each separate so that they all look unique while giving them their own personality and reflecting that in their designs. I want to appreciate the work that she puts into making these designs. It's really cool. So thank you everybody for listening to my long video discussing it. But I believe it's that time again. If you like what I do, don't be shy to give a thumbs up. Don't forget to follow Paragon Lolo on Twitter, and it's her YouTube channel as well. Have a pleasant day, everyone, and this is Handington signing off. Bye!